it's Sheree here. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a posterior chain workout. We're going to be focusing mostly on the hamstrings, glutes, and the lower back muscles. So for like the glutes, we're going to be throwing in those hip thrusts, frog pumps. For the back, we're going to do good mornings, and for hamstrings and glutes, we can do some RDLs and some banded hamstring curls. So for this exercise, for this workout, you're going to need dumbbells. If you don't have a barbell, dumbbells are fine. If you have bands, that's also great. So go ahead, grab some dumbbells or bands or whatever weight you have, and we're gonna get right into this workout. So I've already done my warm-up, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get into the actual workout. So we're starting with the barbell, and we're starting with a low weight. We're doing about 50 pounds right now. It's about 55 pounds. I like to go ahead and get myself all set up and get my spine all nice and neutral. And with RDLs, you really want to take your time. They're not fast movement type of exercise. You really want to pace yourself and have a nice tempo when you're working out and doing exercises, especially pulling barbells. So you want your feet to be nice and like shoulder width apart and not too wide, because then you don't want to do a sumo squat or sumo deadlift rather. So feet shoulder width apart, and take your time bringing that up. And as you guys can see, I'm not thrusting my hips forward when I come up from the deadlift. I'm keeping my spine nice and neutral. And we're going to do about 10 of these. I usually do about 10 reps and 3 sets. And going straight into the next exercise is going to be hip thrust. You guys know I love hip thrust exercises. They also can work your hamstrings and they work the glutes as well. If your feet are wide enough, they can definitely work the hamstring muscles. So I like to go ahead and get myself fixed on the bench. I like to do maybe like my halfway on the bench with my back, and I try not to have my head all the way back. I just try to tuck my chin, and again, a nice tempo, but squeezing the glutes, keeping the feet pointed outwards. That will hit the glutes a lot more. And in the next slide, I'm going to be showing you guys how to not do a hip thrust, and that's having your head all the way back. That is going to kill your spine. So if you suffer from any back pain when you do hip thrust, it's probably because of how tilted your head is. So I would definitely recommend tucking your chin. And as you guys can see, I can't do a lot because it definitely hurts my back. So if you guys try that and you're having back pain, it's probably because your chin isn't tucked. So make sure you go ahead and tuck your chin instead of putting your head all the way back, because that's your spine is really going to suffer and you're going to get some terrible lower back pains. Now for the next exercise, I'm going to go ahead and grab my mat, and we're going to be going into some frog pumps. So I like to do that right after we do hip thrusts. A lot of these movements kind of go into the next one, so you definitely want to do it in the order that I'm showing you. So after the hip thrust, you want to go right into your frog pumps. Try not to have too much of a pause between those two exercises, so just the time to set up your mat will be good. But we're going to go right into frog pumps. I like frog pumps. They're pretty you definitely feel the burn with frog pumps. So here I'm just setting up my mat, so you can go ahead and grab your mat if you need to grab one, and you can grab a decent sized dumbbell. I think this one's like 18 pounds. You don't need anything too heavy if you don't want to. It's one of those days where I'm working out with not so much heavy weight. I don't always go for heavy. I think if you spend time under tension with your exercises, you will definitely feel the burn. I'm also not trying to like gain a lot, so I choose dumbbells and like size of weights that are perfect for me for like the day. If I feel like going heavy, then I will, but some days I don't need to. And with frog pumps, instead of glute bridges, they're basically your feet are very close apart, and your knees are out and your feet are planted together. And as you guys can see, I try not to have my legs come in. I'm going to keep them out wide and squeeze the glutes when you come up. And now we're going to move into the next exercise. So straight into this one. You can take a break between this exercise and the last. We're going to be doing good mornings. Good mornings are a great exercise for your lower back, hamstrings, and your glutes. So go ahead and get your barbell. You can also do this with a band, and you can do this with dumbbells as well. I just prefer to use the barbell because it's much easier and it feels better. So you want to put the bar kind of high on the shoulder blades, and when you do this, it's a very, very slow movement. You definitely don't want to rush through this movement. Try also not to squeeze your butt in when you get to the top of the exercise. So one thing people like to do is that they like to thrust their hips forward. You definitely don't need to do that because that will be doing a posterior pelvic tilt, and that's going to mess up your lumbar spine over time. So I definitely don't recommend thrusting your hips too forward when you come up from a squat, deadlift, or good morning, because it's definitely not that good for your lumbar. So like I said, nice slow tempos. Keep that spine nice and neutral. You don't have to go super low, but the lower you go, the more you'll feel it in your hamstrings. And if you definitely want a slight bend in the knees like you see I have there, because it's not a squat. It's definitely not a squat. If you bend your knees too much, it's gonna be like you're doing a squat. So definitely have a slight bend in the knees. And we're gonna go into the not the last exercise, but we're gonna go into some barbell. All right, so we're gonna go into some tempo dumbbell RDLs. And you guys are gonna see with tempo, I am definitely taking my time when I get to the bottom. So that's time under tension. You can see I pause a little bit there, and then I come up. And that's time and attention. That's really what's gonna grow your muscles, especially when you're not lifting heavy weights. Time and attention is very important. As you can see, my spine is nice and neutral. My heels are planted to the ground, which helps with balance and keeps you nice and grounded. So I would say put a lot of pressure on your heels whenever you're doing these exercises. It's very helpful. Try not to be on your tippy toes too much. I do like wearing Converses also when I work out because they keep me from wanting to put my toes down, and it keeps me very grounded. A lot of people do ask me why I work out in Converses or barefoot, because like Converses definitely have that, I don't know what it is, but it definitely keeps my heel on the ground, if that makes sense. But it definitely keeps me more on the ground, which I like when I'm lifting, so that's that. So we're gonna go ahead and grab some bands, and these bands, they attach to my door. They have a stopper, and I put them under the door to do my banded leg curls. Leg curls, when I was at the gym, was one of my favorite exercises to do, so I was glad when I found these bands. It's very, very helpful, and these bands go up to about 25 pounds, so if you want to double them, you can still get a good amount of weight out of them to pull, and it still helps to grow your, it's still a good amount of resistance for you to exercise with. So I go ahead and I put on ankle attachments, and I attach them to the band, and you want to kind of stretch yourself as far as possible. The farther out you stretch your body from the band, you will feel more. You guys will see that I adjust. So just like the leg curl machine at the gym, it does the same thing. You can also do this with a dumbbell if you don't have a band. I would say definitely be careful with the dumbbell. I've tried with dumbbell before, and it doesn't hold, and I almost hurt my back because the dumbbell fell out of my out of my feet. So I would definitely say try to get some bands and be careful if you try this with the dumbbell. And now this is the end of the workout. I really hope you guys enjoy it. Again, these exercises are very effective. And as always, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.